Hi friends, today we'll discuss what is Trump's revenge tax and how does this impact us as global investors outside of the USA, just in case if we invest in S&P 500 or any US based companies. As we all know that Donald Trump government has recently proposed a one big beautiful bill, and it's just passed by their House of Representatives on 22nd of May 2025 this year, and now it's in the Senate and undergoing some review. So it is not passed yet, but in order to become a law they need to have a majority, so they are still seeking for the majority. So here is the breakdown based on the information what we have. The bill name is One Big Beautiful Bill Act, and it is allocated as Section 899, which is officially titled Enforcement of Remedies, just like mentioned, and it is still being passed by the House of Representatives, and it is now in the Senate, and it is still undergoing some review by the Senate parliamentarian to ensure it complies with the reconciliation rules, which would allow it to pass with a simple majority. So basically they need a majority. The purpose of this section 899, so this is very critical, guys. So their main purpose is this basically aims to impose additional taxes on foreign individuals, corporations, and even governments from countries that the US Treasury designates as having unfair foreign taxes on US businesses. Oh my god. So this part talks about the countries such as UK, USA, Canada, Australia, Germany, Turkey, and many other European nations have implemented unfair tax policies on US businesses. And because of those losses, now this country has to pay additional taxes on foreign investments, and most importantly, it also overrides USA, UK, and many other countries withholding taxes rules. As we all know, the fact that if we invest in USA based company, and if any USA based company distributes any type of dividends, then there is a 30% withholding tax which we need to pay to US government. Basically they deduct it at source, and I'll show you how it works and what are the implications to UK as well as other countries. So I found a very interesting article regarding this point as well, and it's by Franklin Templeton website. So this is on this slide. Let me show you. It is by Stephen Dover, and it's a very good article dated 4th of June this year, and I'll put a link into the description so you guys can refer it later on. So this article talks about what could potentially hurt investment into the United States. So on the second page, the tax which US government is asking is more than 30%. That is for sure. So at the moment we are paying 30% as a foreign investor on dividends, okay, and that is going to go up by 50%. For example, in case of dividend income where the statutory rate is 30%, a foreign investor benefiting from 15% tax duty rates on dividends could eventually see a tax increase from 15% to 50%. 50%. That's huge. That means half of the dividend, whatever you get it from any as a foreign investor, any US companies, then if you happen to receive, let's say for example $100, then you would receive $50. That's what this says, and that is quite huge. So as per this article, USA could impose withholding tax on USA dividend, and also they're going to override those current tax rules to not only UK but also to major European countries including Canada, Australia, and even Turkey. So that is quite big. So what are the current rules? So at the moment we could get a waiver of 15% if we fill out a form called W8 band form. Okay, you must have heard this and you must have signed this. When you go to platform providers and brokers, they do ask us to sign these kind of forms, and so we have to sign that, and we can get 15% waiver straight away, which is a 15% bonus. So that is going to go up by 30%. So there won't be any such 15% withholding tax waiver, which we could get it in the future if this Senate passes this law. Okay, and also on top of that, they are going to increase 5% each year as well. So that is also going to go up. Now let's take an example. If you are investing in S&P 500 through any ETF, a popular ETF such as Vanguard's VUSA ETF. I'm sure that you must have heard this. This is a very popular distributing version, UCITS compliant ETF, which invests in top 500 companies in USA. So now let's understand how this could work out. And this is a distributing version, by the way. That means we receive a dividend. Now let's say, for example, if you happen to receive $100 from S&P 500, okay, from your investments, then now let's look at how 15% withholding tax behind the scene, how this works. So let me tell you that 15% of withholding tax, which is a current tax, just in case if you filled out that form, W8BN form, okay, so you can get 15% waiver straight away. So they'll deduct 15%. So now let me tell you that this happens at fund level and we won't get any notification on that. Okay, so how this happens is, so now what exactly happens is, now this particular ETF, which is VUSA, a distributed version of S&P 500, is domiciled in Ireland. So now USA and Ireland, they have a specific treaty, so the same like, withholding tax treaty. Now exactly how this works is, let's say for example, if you happen to receive $100 as a dividend from your S&P 500, okay, so let's say for example a US based company such as Apple, Nvidia or Palantir, let's say for example they are giving you $100 as a dividend, yeah. So you might notice, oh wow, I'm going to get $100 dividend, but you would not notice this because this is not happening at ground level. They are just happening at fund level. So what happens is that particular US based company will give dividend to Ireland based Vanguard ETF, okay, at fund level. So they give it to the fund house straight away. And before doing that, America will take out 15%, which is $15 at source. So just take out their share, okay, and then they distribute it to Vanguard ETF, which is based in Ireland. And so you happen to receive only $85, okay. Now what the crux of the problem is, if you are investing through accumulating version, then what's going to happen? In accumulating version as well, the same practice is going to happen. The only thing is that dividend will be redistributed, but you as a retail investor, you would not get any notification. You would not understand how this basically mechanism works. So my problem is, if we are holding this big amount in our portfolio, then are we going to get the same return which we wanted to have that if we are reinvesting our dividend or taking dividend back? So the impact on a longer term is going to be a very huge impact. And these 15% which we are already getting this bonus, now US is saying, and this is if they pass this law, it's going to be a very big hit for us as a small retail investor, because they are going to go up by 50%. So we need to pay 50% on that. Now let me tell you that this USA investing is going to be less desirable if they continue doing that. And not only in ETF, this rule is also going to apply to even their bonds and even to their OEICs, open-ended investment companies. It's a fancy term of mutual fund. Okay, so it applies to all of them. But there is a big but. This would not apply to SIPPs. Yes, guys, so this is a critical distinction here, where there is 0%. Yes, there is 0% withholding tax for SIPPs. So if you are investing through SIPP, self-invested personal pension, then you don't need to pay any single penny on US withholding tax. And this is the current rule. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future, whether they're going to pass this bill, are they going to, what the Senate will decide, okay, are they favorable terms, if what UK will come up with their own idea, okay. So I don't have any idea on that. And you might argue that why SIPPs are excluded in USA UK withholding tax rules. So there are three major points. So the first major point is USA and UK have a DTAA kind of agreement, which is also known as double taxation avoidance agreement, but this one is a different form of that version. So this is known as UK USA double taxation conventional tax treaty. So this treaty says that pension should be excluded And this is the first point. And US government believes that SIPPs are a kind of a pension pot. So we should avoid this. So this is the first point. Now the second point is this particular SIPPs has to be a qualified pension scheme, and they must be recognized by IRS, which is their own version of HMRC. And the third point is very critical. So there is no W8 ban requirement. So yes guys, so that means unlike investing through ETF or mutual funds, there is no such requirements to fill out that form, because their SIPPs administrators will do at their level. So they'll do the job for us. So most SIPP providers, they won't ask you to sign up these kind of forms. What about section 899? So this could be another threat which we as an investor could face even if we are investing through SIPP. So what could be the consequences? Now there could be a potential loss of 0% withholding tax in the SIPPs as well. And we never know, just in case if USA decides that UK as a foreign discriminatory country, then they could override the rules and they could ask us to pay more than 30%, 50%, God knows. At the moment, SIPPs are enjoying this preferential rate, which is 0%. As with ISA, it is crucial for SIPP investor to stay informed about any new monumental changes if USA government imposes to UK government, especially pertaining to section 899. And if I get any such news, then I will definitely upload. If you know any such information about your particular SIPP account, or if you have had any SIPP notification, then please comment in the box below and please share with the community. If you want to know more about any such tax advantage accounts such as ISA, SIPPs or SAS pension, then please watch this video.